In this video, I want to go through and do a little bit of cleanup work. So, for example, this does not need to be quite as bad, so I can cut out the first portion of it. And same thing for kind of the remaining big chunks and move them into functions. So I'm going to start. I actually want to set all of these functions that we have to private. So those two to private and you. I feel like this gets called from somewhere else. All right, so maybe not. So that one can be private as well. And let me just check and see if that still works. All right, so that broke the onHovered event. So I'm going to set you back to just public. There, now we're back to go and good to go. So let's create a new function. Think about what we want to call it. So I want to do setup beacon client. Make it private. And the input is going to be an F string. It's going to be connect, or what do we call it? This one, address. We're going to take all of this and move it in here. Then we're going to make it have an output. We can actually access, where do we set client beacon? Right there, so we don't really need an output actually. Now we can simply do all this and call create host beacon, or not host beacon, setup beacon client. And for the address, we're doing 127.0.0.1. Then we're going to connect address to address and relink the events. So I want to start moving stuff around a bit. So for the onConnected, this is what we'll do. Keep it kind of like that. Then for the onDisconnected, move you over. Like so. Then for the onConnected, just kind of neaten up just a tad. Let's see here, we can move all this probably into a function of its own. Let's call it, see, what's in this? Oh, probably call it like update lobby info. So update lobby info. And make it take in that struct. So Nazi zombie lobby info, call it new lobby info. And move all of this into it. And here's the issue. Oh, I disconnected the whatchamacallit. So setup beacon client. I'm going to make it actually have an output, and the output's going to be the client beacon. So Nazi zombie beacon client, object reference, client beacon, and have it return client beacon. Move all this out. We're going to do a valid. If it is valid, we'll go ahead and link everything up. Let's see, is that it? No, you as well. Well, we can use this one. All right, so now all of the client events should be linked back up. And update lobby info. We can replace all that. Want to make it actually private and call it for on lobby updated. So the on disconnected. Up. Right, so we have those our create lobby setup, our create lobby beacon setup, just a lot smaller, more compressed, and into functions to clean it up a bit. Now for our solo, let's see. We can do setup solo maps and pretty much run all of this. So setup solo maps. It's going to be literally everything after the first branch. I'm gonna make it private and connect it to false. So if solo map has already been selected, we do not want to run it. So that way we don't duplicate it. So good to go. And it's not duplicating. So that's simplified. Now we have this whole setup. So what I can do here, because we have the same kind of setup set, update lobby info. You can make a little branch here for the input. Or actually, we can just grab his host. Want to disconnect it, so get his host. We're into a branch. If we are the host, we want to fire directly to the clear children. If we are not the host, we want to do everything, including the brush. So now we can call update lobby info right from that event and shorten it up quite a bit. And let's actually see. That's not the event. I don't think that actually handles it, but oh well. Now we got to look at this. So this is the setup. We're going to do setup beacon host. Create the host beacon here. We can probably move all of this into it. At least that's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to copy it, break the link, go to create host beacon, and paste it. And simply move the return node down to the very end. See if that breaks anything. Doesn't seem to. We'll actually need to test it, so I want to test and see if that all still works for the lobby with 2 clients. So host, let's see, so map name is not filling. So that's something that we broke, but everything else seems to be. All right, so let's look through it. Here's where we have everything else. Set is host to true. So it seems like we're not, let's see, let's print out a string. Shouldn't see this and test. Not sure why I'm only seeing map 1. Let's see, we loop through. That's why I'm returning kind of immediately after. So I want to take the return node, move it down to the for loop. So once it's completed, we return. There we go. Now we have both. So let's test this out. And that should have fixed it. Map name, map name. It's not quite reading them the same for some reason, but I can check that out for later on. It's probably just some dumb issue, but I'm not too worried about it. Let's shorten that up a lot. Now for the yes leave. Do another function. Call it, let's see, shut down server. And inside of it, we're going to have all of this. Now we just call shut down server. And we can make another one called leave client. I want to set shutdown server to private. So leave client. And that's going to be all of this. We simply call leave client. Compile and save, and make it private. That all's fine. Let's see. Curious if I reconnect that, that's going to fix the issue. And if so, I'll just tinker around with it and see if what the actual cause of the map's not being loaded quite right is. Oh well, not too worried about that. I'll just end up fixing that in the next video. So we can disconnect and remove. I'm going to leave that for now in case something else breaks. But this is much cleaner and organized into functions for the majority of our blueprint. So now that that's done, I will see you in the next video where we go about actually fixing that little map showing up bug that we have. So I'll see you then.